Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time. I feel like from where I'm sitting, the day's just sort of flown by completely, and hearing from all of our speakers, seeing how attendees are connecting with one another in the chat, it's just been great from where I'm sitting. We're going to end with a celebration with the Orchard Trust, who are going to tell us about their summer fair. And we have Louise Cobb joining us. I'm going to hand over to Louise now. And as ever, you can pop your questions over into the Q&A with the two overlapping chat buttons. And let's get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Louise Cobb. I'm a community fundraiser at the Orchard Trust, and I'm going to talk to you today about how we turned our annual summer fair into an online success. So welcome to the session, everybody. If you want to communicate with me, just comment in the chat box. Perhaps just say hi and where you're joining from, and I'll get going with the session. Okay, so the Orchard Trust, we're a charity based in the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire. We support people with special needs to live active and fulfilling lives. So we've got 6 residential homes where we care for our clients, and we've also got a day service site with a therapeutic smallholding. And our smallholding is a really amazing place. We've got 17 acres there, and our clients can come and work with the animals and do gardening. And it's a really wonderful place for them to learn skills and build their self-confidence. So as people who normally need care themselves, when they come to the small holding and care for our animals, it's a really amazing experience for them and gives them a lot of confidence and skills. So that's who we are. So first, I'll just start off by telling you a bit about what we normally do in a normal year when there isn't a global pandemic. So every year we hold our summer fair on our small holding site. And it's a traditional, British country fair day out. Just as you'd imagine, we have bands and a barbecue, an ice cream stall. And then to raise money, we have lots of little stalls like a tombola and a raffle and lucky dip. All those little traditional stalls that you would expect, face painting, that kind of thing. And we have a loyal crowd of locals and our clients and their families. There's normally, say, about 400 people come to the event. Just put a few pictures in there for you to see. And normally we raise about £2,000 to £2,500. So that's what we do on a normal year and what we were planning to do this year. So I'll just take you through the kind of timeline of how we ended up doing what we did. So the summer fair was booked for the 14th of June. It had been in the calendar for 10, 11 months. So that was the plan. But obviously in March, things changed and it became clear that we wouldn't be able to have a face-to-face event in June. So we took the decision to cancel the event and we rescheduled it for the 20th of September. And at the time, the 20th of September seemed a long way away. It seemed like everything would be pretty much back to normal by then. So we picked that new date. We sent out all the communications to our supporters, and that's what we were planning for. But obviously, as the lockdown went on, we started to realize that that might not be possible. So I think it was about the 19th of May that we realized, hang on a minute, September's still not going to be possible, especially given that we've got vulnerable clients. So we didn't think it was right to be encouraging a lot of people to come to the small holding at that time. So we looked at our options. We thought, right, we can cancel entirely for 2020. We can just write the whole thing off this year. Or we could keep going, hoping for the September date. Or we could do something virtual. And so it seemed to us like we should do something now. It felt like if we waited for September and then did a virtual event, it felt like we would have missed that kind of golden moment, when everyone was doing stuff online, people were spending a lot of time on their social media. So it felt like, yeah, let's go for it. So we made the decision to do something virtual, and we wanted to do it really quickly because we didn't know how long the lockdown would last, and we wanted to kind of jump on that moment where people were on their smartphones a lot when they were on furlough or at home. So we decided to do it on the 20th of June. So it was only 4 weeks away, but it felt right to do it soon. And also that date was very close to the the date, you know, when people normally expect our summer fair around that time of year. Okay, so just to take you through sort of some of the planning and the aims of our event. So we only had 4 weeks to go. I mean, realistically, by the time we got our skates on, we organised the whole event in about 3 weeks. So we were a team of 3. So there's myself. I only work 2 days a week for the trust. So, you know, I had limited time to spend on it. There was my colleague, Tina Baker, who was, she's really good on our social media. So she did a lot of the social media side, and our other colleague, Sarah Tuffley. So normally Sarah and I organise the physical event together. So the 3 of us were working on it, but very part-time, you know, all doing other elements of our roles as well. And really we set very limited targets at the beginning. We just thought, let's do something. It seemed better to do something than to do nothing. So, I mean, we were really surprised by how successful we were. We thought, well, maybe we'll raise 500 quid, and it seemed worth it to do it for that. And it was an opportunity to engage with our audience, because we figured, like, we were seeing good engagement on our social media already. So it felt like this was an opportunity to generate some content and do something to engage with our audience. Yeah, like I said, we just kind of wanted to do something rather than nothing. And we wanted to capture that zeitgeist of things being online. It felt like, you know, there's a lot of talk at that time that everyone was sitting on their phones and doing more stuff online. And we wanted to do it right now, immediately, and have that sort of sense of urgency. Okay, so I'll just take you through now sort of what the event consisted of and how we hosted it. Just if you've got any questions, do put them in the chat and I can try and respond to them. Or obviously there's the Q&A at the end, but do just keep the questions coming in through the chat so I can sort of see what sort of things you want me to cover in the Q&A. Okay, so we hosted the event on Facebook. We did it as a Facebook event. So obviously there's a lot of different ways you could host a virtual event and different platforms, but we decided to go to where our community are. So we had about 1,300 Facebook followers at the time, which was where our biggest audience were. So that seemed like the sensible place to go for us. But obviously, you know, you might have your audience in a different place, so it makes sense for you to do it there. So the good thing about doing it as a Facebook event was that in the run-up to it, we could build an audience by inviting them to join the Facebook event. So once they'd clicked to join the Facebook event, they would then receive all our notifications. So we sort of had them captured then, in a sense. But we did think, we really didn't know if anybody would join the event. So while we planned to do it as a Facebook event, we had the kind of backup plan that we figured, well, if nobody joins our Facebook event, we can just put all the content out on our main Facebook page on the day. But as it happened, a lot of people did join the event. So, so that was great. Okay, so our event had fundraising elements and entertainment elements, because we didn't just want to hammer people for money all day, because that would be really boring. And also when they come to our real event, they're getting a load of entertainment and sort of free entertainment, and then they go to the stores and they spend a bit of money. So we wanted it to be kind of fun and entertaining as well as a fundraiser. So just first to talk about the fundraising elements. So we had a raffle, and we got the prizes donated from businesses. And I just set it up as a Virgin Money Giving page. So people would just make a donation to that Virgin Money Giving page. And then if they donated like 20 quid, then the tickets were, I don't know, £2, I think. So then obviously they got 10 raffle tickets. And then I just had to put all the names in a spreadsheet for the draw. And the raffle itself raised over £1,000. So that was really successful. We had cash prizes. £100 was the first prize and £50 the second prize, which were donated by a business. So I don't know if people donated because they wanted to support us or because they liked the idea of the cash prizes, but anyway, that was really successful. We also had a virtual pet show with like different categories, like, I don't know, friendliest face and loveliest rescue and most handsome, all those kind of categories. And again, there was a Virgin Money Giving page, so people would make their donation through the page. I think it was £5, and then you could enter 3 categories. So once they donated, we got their email address through the Virgin Money Giving data spreadsheet, and then we would email them and say, thanks for donating, now please send us in your photos. So then they sent photos in and we put them on the Facebook event. And that was really lovely. You know, we got just loads of gorgeous pictures, and it was a great way of generating a lot of really nice content as well as a fundraiser. So the other sort of fundraising element was the Loveliest Father competition. So the event was the day before Father's Day. So that gave us a nice little hook to invite people to send us a photo of themselves with their father and tell us why their father was so lovely. And the last fundraising thing was a virtual barbecue. So that was just really simple. It was just a Virgin Money Giving page, and we invited people to donate what they would have spent on their burger if they'd come to the real event. Okay, so then there were the entertainment sides of the event, which were all free. So we had a Brazilian dance workshop. One of our colleagues is an amazing performer and circus artist and clown. So she did us a Brazilian dance workshop. She also did us a juggling workshop. So these were pre-recorded. So just in the week or so running up to the event, we asked people to pre-record their little thing, you know, 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was. And they sent them to us and we scheduled them into the Facebook event. So likewise with the bands, we had recordings from all the bands who would normally play at our event. We have the same bands every year and our local community absolutely love them. So it was also a great way of like driving audience to our event, was, you know, because they knew that these certain bands were going to be playing, the people who love those bands joined our Facebook event, and those bands all sent us recordings of their music. I mean, they weren't necessarily new. We said it's fine to send us like an old recording of something that you've already got on YouTube. So that was fine. Another colleague did us a little workshop, just recorded on her phone, of how to make a face mask. So she just recorded herself, you know, sewing a face mask. Yes, I said there was a juggling workshop. Then we had a cake baking competition. And so people, there was there weren't categories, it was just anything, you know, just send us your pictures. So people emailed us pictures of their baking, or they could post directly into the Facebook event their baked goods. And that was really popular. And we got a local supermarket to judge that. So again, that sort of brought in more local businesses and more audience. Then we had a vintage vehicle show. So last year, our local Forest of Dean Historic Vehicle Club was like a supporter of ours. So they did a lot of fundraising events for us. So we asked them to put this out to their network. So they emailed their members, and that's how we got the photos for the vintage vehicle show. So again, it was either people emailing us photos and we uploaded them to the Facebook event, or people could post directly into the Facebook event. We had 60 vehicles entered into the vehicle show, so that was really nice. Then we also had behind the scenes tours of our work. So our colleague Phil, who runs the Therapeutic Smallholding, made some really lovely little videos of, you know, there was one of him feeding the pigs, there was one of him feeding the goats, there was one of him, you know, petting the hamsters or whatever. I can't quite remember what they all were now, but they were really sweet, just really short little videos. And as he fed the pigs, he would talk about the smallholding and the work we do there with people with special needs. So that was really nice. Yeah, and another free thing that we had was an art competition. So for that, we did have different categories, I think 4 categories. And again, we invited people to email us their art or to upload it directly to the Facebook event. Yeah, so that was what we did. I mean, one of the brilliant things was on the day, seeing the interaction with the audience, because we just didn't know if anyone would watch this or what would happen or anyone would join. But it was brilliant, you know, while we were playing the recording of while juggling workshop was going on, people were posting photos of their kids like juggling, or little videos of them like trying to do juggling in their living rooms. Same with the Brazilian dance workshop, people were posting pictures of themselves dancing. And obviously with all the pictures of the vintage vehicles and the cakes and the art coming in, there was really good interaction on the page. Yeah, the event went on, I want to say from 1 in the afternoon till 4 in the afternoon, I think, or maybe longer, 11 till 4. And I think the interaction did sort of tail off a bit as the day went on. You know, it's quite a long time to sustain that that level of engagement for. Yeah, so you can see on the slide there, it says tip, pre-recorded and live sessions. So I would suggest having a mixture of both. So we decided to pre-record everything. We just thought, oh my gosh, this is our first time doing this. We don't really have a clue. Let's pre-record everything. So, you know, like the juggling workshop, the behind the scenes video tours, everything. We recorded these little video clips and then we pre-scheduled everything into the Facebook event, which was fine. But I think if we did it again, now that we're a bit more experienced, we would try to have a bit more live content, just to give it more that feeling of, you know, interacting and immediacy. I think that would be a fun thing that we would try next. But, you know, as it was our first go, we wanted everything to be pre-recorded. So even like the raffle draw, for example, you know, quickly in the office, we would putting it all on the spreadsheet and drawing the raffle, and then somebody drove over to the small holding site, recorded a little video of the raffle draw. We ran back to the office, we checked it all, and we uploaded it, which was fine. But, you know, if we were feeling more confident next time, we would maybe just stream that live, you know, from the small holding as we drew the raffle. I mean, the other advantage of pre-recording stuff is it means you can pre-schedule everything in Facebook. We would have really struggled on the day to have been actually posting all that stuff live. There was just so much going on, and we had different threads on the Facebook event, so that, like, you know, the pet show could be running at the same time as the juggling workshop or whatever, because there was a lot going on. So it was helpful to us to have stuff pre-recorded. Okay, so this slide just shows you some pictures from the day. So it was just such a fun event. You know, we really had really low expectations of what would happen, and it was so fun, and we really enjoyed it. And it was great seeing the interaction with our community. So I've just put some pictures there from the pet show. And then the loveliest father competition winner, that's one of our clients, Philippa, with her dad. She won that competition. So yeah, for the winners, we just had really simple, we wanted to keep it simple. So the winners, they just got like a little certificate that we printed in the office. For the pets, we ordered some rosettes online, and then we just posted them out a rosette. For the art competition, I think we got some vouchers for like an art supplies shop. But, you know, we wanted to keep everything really simple. Yeah, just to make it achievable and doable, because really we only had about, you know, 3 weeks to plan the whole event. And people were delighted. You know, at first we thought, oh my gosh, we've got to have amazing prizes. But people were delighted with their certificate saying, you know, you're the loveliest father. So my advice would be just to keep it really simple. So yeah, just in the chat function, I don't know if people want to post some, just if you have done any virtual fundraising or anything along these lines, then just, you know, type in there what you've done. It'd be nice to see those ideas. Okay, so this slide just shows you how much we raised. Yeah, I mean, the summary is that we were so successful, and we raised as much as we would do from the physical event, which we just could not believe it. We were just bowled over. So just to take you through the figures. So we raised £650 in corporate sponsorship. So that was from very local businesses. You know, I just phoned them and said, would you support like a category in this event? So trying to find a fit, you know. So for example, there's a local pub who sponsored the virtual barbecue. A local garage sponsored the vintage vehicle show. So that was nice. And obviously that's a way to start building relationships with some local corporates, which is always really helpful. Yeah, so then the income from the donations. So the raffle alone raised over £1,000. You can see there £1,090 from the raffle. And then the competitions, so the virtual barbecue, the pet show and the Loveliest Father competition combined raised nearly £1,000, £949. So the gross income was £2,690, which we were amazed by. And then our costs were very limited. So our total expenditure was £247. Now, 150 of that was the raffle prizes. So the whole of the rest of the event, only cost us about £100 to put on. So that was some Facebook advertising and like rosettes for the competitions and stuff. So obviously compared to putting on a physical event, the costs were much, much lower. So that's another advantage really. So the net income was £2,443, which was fantastic because normally the physical event, raises about £2,500. So financially, it was a big success. So I'll just take you through a few of the other benefits of the event. So we grew our e-communications list. So when people donate through Virgin Money Giving, they can opt in to marketing, to join our mailing list. So normally we get about a 13% sign-up rate, but we saw a 42% opt-in rate on this, which was great. So, and that also is a sign that people felt really engaged with this and really wanted to engage with the charity. We grew our social media audience, so we got new page likes, and having like content from the bands, and we had some stall holders so people could sort of advertise their products through our Facebook event. So that gave us an opportunity to tap into their networks and grow our own audience. Another great advantage of the event was that we really upskilled ourselves as a team. So we, just making these short little videos on a smartphone of like our colleague from the small holding feeding the pigs, that's really upskilled him and given him the confidence to do that now. So he's giving us more of that kind of content now to put on the social media, which is really nice. And obviously in the space of about 3 or 4 weeks, we really upskilled ourselves in digital fundraising. We learned a lot about how to use Facebook effectively in Facebook events. We also, as part of the virtual summer fair, had a plant stall. So garden centres donated us plants and we put all of them on a Facebook shop. So that was a new thing that we learned how to do. So the next benefit of the event was it was a kind of proof of concept. So we've proved to ourselves that digital fundraising is effective for us and that we can raise money online from our community. And sort of off the back of that, we're this year running a Christmas fundraising campaign. So we're aiming to raise £4,000 through the Big Give Christmas Challenge with our Going Places campaign. Another advantage was that we produced sort of evergreen content. So these behind the scenes videos, we can use them again and again. They're like really nice little videos about our work. Okay, so another benefit of the event was that it was so positive for our team. I mean, I expect some of you felt this as well, that when you were, in the lockdown period or working from home, separated from your colleagues, it was kind of not very fun. I mean, I really like working with other people personally. So it was just brilliant to be doing something as a team again, to be working together on a project and working on a shared goal. The team of 3 that we worked on it alongside our colleague from the small holding and our other colleagues that gave us content, little videos. It was just so fun to be doing something together again. So that was really nice. Another benefit was that it enabled us to engage our community. So it gave us kind of a reason to reach out to our supporters, to be engaging with them, having that like on the day when they were all commenting on the videos and posting stuff. It was brilliant. And it was nice to do something fun with our community, because obviously our real summer fair is a really fun, lovely day out. The other benefit was that it felt like the right thing to do. So our clients, some of them are very vulnerable, so it wouldn't have been right even in September. I mean, now we know that it wouldn't have been right anyway, but at the time when we decided to go for a virtual event, not a September event, at that time, it was still possible that maybe we could have had a September event. We didn't know what would happen, but it feels like we did the right thing and we didn't try and prioritize face-to-face fundraising over our clients. And it felt like we were sort of in on that moment at that time, doing that thing. Also, another benefit of the event was that it was like a lot less work than doing a physical event. So the physical event, we have to find over 50 volunteers. You know, we're there in the pouring rain, putting up gazebos. We have to spend weeks trimming the small holding and getting everything ready. And we didn't have to do any of that. But I mean, sort of in conclusion, though, we're not just going to ditch our real summer fair now going forward. We really see the value in doing a physical event. The physical event like really builds up goodwill. You know, it makes our community kind of fall in love with us all over again every year. They come to our beautiful small holding, they see all the animals and see our clients, and you know, it's a great thing to do. And it's a chance, it's almost like an open day for us. You know, it showcases our services. They can look at our brilliant facilities, and our clients you know, really love it as a day out. So I think sort of looking to the future, what we would want to do is combine virtual and physical events, because there is a real value in the physical event. But I think this has made us realize that there's so much potential in virtual, and you know, why not have both? Because then people who can't come along to a physical event can still engage with the event. So certainly, you know, next year we will hope to do a physical summer fair, but I think we'll also have, you know, we could also have an online raffle or have a pet show or something like that alongside it. You know, there were people engaging with our event who live, you know, hundreds of miles from the Orchard Trust, from the Forest of Dean. So so that was really nice, and it enabled us to kind of broaden out, engage with the new community. Like, for example, the pet show. So we had 70 pets entered the pet show. It was judged by local vets. You know, that was a whole thing that we would never have at the physical event, and really enabled us to reach out. Yes, so that's what we're thinking of in the future, and it's also really sort of made our social media flourish. So we've seen amazing engagement with our social media content through this whole COVID period. We're posting a lot of like positive stories about our clients, you know, pictures of clients, you know, doing arts and crafts in the homes, or now clients can go out for walks in the local park, so that kind of thing. And it's sort of encouraged us to really put our values at the front and center of our social media and web presence, because, you know, people love hearing about our values, and people having a really positive response to them. So the event has sort of inspired us to put our values very front and center of our sort of online presence. Okay, well, thanks for listening, everybody. So good luck with your virtual fundraising. And in a minute, we've got an opportunity for Q&A. So do send me any questions that you've got about our event or sort of related things. And also it'd be lovely to hear what you've done virtual fundraising wise, and we can all sort of share ideas and learn from each other. So yeah, just to wrap up really and think about a couple of kind of takeaways from the event and things that we learned. So one thing I would really advise, obviously this is always the case with fundraising, is do thank your donors. You know, you always want to steward your donors. Somebody who gives £10 to your virtual event, they could become a donor for years after that, you know, if you look after them and thank them. So after the event, we very promptly emailed everybody who had donated. So because we collected donations through Virgin Money Giving, they give you a spreadsheet of all the data of, you know, the names and email addresses and etc. of everyone who's donated, and tell you whether those people opted in or out of marketing communications. So, you know, do use that data. So we very promptly thanked everybody. The ones who'd opted in for email marketing, we signed them up to our MailChimp list. And then obviously remember to then quite quickly get in touch with those people, you know, send them news about your charity and what you're doing and how amazing you are. And the other thing would be to use the data that you get, like really analyze that data to to make it effective. So we really drilled down into that data. We looked at how many donations we had, how many unique donors, what the average value of donation per person was. We compared like the sign-up rate for email communications to our normal rate. Yeah, and then because we did it through Facebook, you can really look, if you go to your analytics on Facebook, you can find out, how many people interacted with the page, how many people followed, commented, etc. So really, look at that data and analyze it and think how you can learn from that and going ahead, learning for your future events. Okay, well, if you want to find out any more about our work, I've put our web address on the slides there and our Facebook and Instagram. So you can follow us if you want, or just see what kind of stuff we do on social media. And there's my email address. So if you do want to keep in touch or have any further questions that don't get answered in the Q&A, then do contact me. Okay, thanks then.
Hi, Louise. Thank you so much for joining us. That was lovely to see. So nice to see that a summer event that historically you never would have thought about doing it sort of in the cloud, but you guys have made such a massive success of it. It was amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we surprised ourselves in how successful it was. And it was good fun and really got people engaging with us. So
brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Brilliant. And it looks like our attendees have also really loved hearing about your session and how you sort of turned the summer fair into success. And
yeah, it's nice seeing all the comments.
Incredible. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to dive straight into the questions. And our first question comes from Petra, who asks, did you have to get a different license for your raffle as it was online and sort of virtual?
No, we just used because we run physical raffles as well at our regular events. So we've got a license through the Forest of Dean District Council. I think it's called a Small Societies Lottery Registration. So that covered us to do the raffle online.
Oh, brilliant. Excellent. And so Janine asks also, so in terms of processes, when you referred to the Facebook event, was everything on the sort of discussion page of the event?
Yeah, so in the Facebook event, everything goes under the discussion. And so the way we sort of hung everything together was that we would do a post about, say, the virtual pet show. And then as everybody responded to that post in the comments, that would sort of group all the pet show stuff together under that post. So then there'd be a separate post about, the cake show or the vintage vehicle show. And then, so underneath that, all the comments meant stuff was grouped together like that.
Excellent.
And we made, we use Canva to do sort of nice looking little graphics. So we would do like a little Canva design for the pet show to sort of at the start of that post. And then all the discussion was hung under that. So people could kind of find what they were looking for.
Oh, that's nice. A really visual way to put everything laid out and stuff. Very intuitive as well, it sounds like. Our next question from Janine also covers Facebook, and she asks, when you say, oh no, sorry, that's my mistake. I'm going to skip over to the next question. Sam asks, were the attendees people who you think would have attended the real life event, or do you think you reached a new audience?
I'd say the bulk of them were our usual supporters. We've got really loyal supporters, obviously the families of our clients and local people. So the bulk of them were, but we did reach some new people, which was great. And we really saw after the event that those people were then plugged into our Facebook and liking our content. So it increased our Facebook following as well. So yeah, it was mainly the sort of usual people, but it got some new people. But I think it was also really important to engage with our usual audience. Because otherwise, a whole year would have gone by and they wouldn't have had their sort of summer fair experience. So for us, it was really valuable to have been communicating with our usual audience as well as engaging new people. Yeah. Because obviously, 2021, we want to be ready to go back to those people with our real summer fair, and they're still interested and engaged with us and sort of hungry for our content, Yeah.
It sounds like a real fixture in the local calendar.
Yeah.
If I was closer, I'd love to come down and visit the pet show and cakes and things. Okay. Okay, so quite process-driven questions are next. Our attendee asks, it's jumping ahead, but they'd like to know how much engagement did you get from the event?
I think I put some figures up at the end there about how many people engaged. Hang on a sec, let me just try and get that that slide back up. Yeah,
I
who are our
definitely saw
audience?
some information.
I can't remember now how much how
Okay.
many people engaged with our content. I mean, we have about 1,200 Facebook followers, and we had really brilliant engagement on the event. So many people, you know, in the run up, they could click to join the event. So that was a really useful function. Was that once they'd clicked to join the event, obviously then they get the notifications.
Okay, great.
So that was really helpful.
Yes. And Sam's question covers this sort of new reality that we're all living in now, and would like to know if this experience changed your approach to planning an event post-COVID when sort of life goes back to normal.
Well, I think it's really inspired us to do more online. So like next summer, for example, even if we can go back to having our real summer fair, we definitely want to combine some virtual events in with it. You know, like why not have a virtual pet show next year on top of our normal event, for example? You know, because then you can tap into the people who can't attend the event or people further away. So I think we'll be doing that as well. So another thing we learned was sort of like I was saying at the end of the presentation, like really looking at the data, you know, thinking about who has donated, have they signed up to our MailChimp communications? So really trying to kind of analyze, you know, who's donating and why, and trying to then keep hold of those donors, obviously, and steward them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you were planning the event and putting it all together, Beth would like to know how much you sort of spent on Facebook ads, and did you target them at all and how?
So we spent about £50 on Facebook ads, and we targeted them. So when you're creating the ad, you can build an audience. So we kept it quite local. So I think we chose an audience in about a 20-mile radius. So yeah, we found that was really effective. I think with Facebook ads, you don't have to spend loads, and it is quite effective. So I think it's definitely worth spending a bit of money on that. And we did find that we reached new people through the ads, who've then, you know, liked our page and are now receiving our content.
Excellent, thank you so much. I think there's lots of very specific process-driven questions that people are taking real inspiration from the event. Jake would like to know, I would like to thank you and to know, which platform did you use to draw the names for the raffle?
So what we did with the raffle was we created a Virgin Money giving page. So people made their donation on there. And then through Virgin Money Giving, you can download a donor's report. So then I went to the report where I could get you know, everybody's email address, and I could see how much they donated. So I knew how many tickets they bought. And then I just put all of those names into a spreadsheet. If they bought 10 tickets, you know, I put their name 10 times in the spreadsheet. And then, I mean, it was a bit of a roundabout way because we wanted to do like a real raffle draw, and we made a little video of it. So then we got the spreadsheet, cut it all up into bits of paper, put it in a box so that we could have the moment, the drawing moment. So then our CEO, one of my colleagues, went over to our small holding site, and we made a little film on the smartphone just of her drawing it, and then added that to the Facebook event. I mean, probably there's loads of clever platforms online where you can run an online raffle and it just whizzes it all up and does it for you, and you get a winner, and you don't have to be snipping up bits of paper off a spreadsheet. But we kind of wanted to keep that element because that's a big part of our physical event is, you know, the moment when we draw the raffle. So that's how we did it.
Yeah. And it's sort of in a world where everything is so sort of virtual and techy. That sounds like such a really lovely sort of almost organic, kind of slightly rustic. You might even say it's
Yeah.
like it's real. Someone's actually doing it.
Yeah, it has that
lovely.
nice and rustic, like you say, element to it that was like at our physical event. So
Oh,
yeah.
brilliant. Okay. And in terms of planning the event, Anna would like to know, did you need an entertainment license to show bands at all?
No, we didn't. No, I mean, when we do our physical event, we get a temporary events notice license because we were having, you know, live music there, but we didn't do that for having it online. I mean, we were just, the bands just sent us like little clips from YouTube. Some of it was content that they already had up online. Something that was really popular was the brass band. There's like a local brass band that's really popular, and in Forest of Dean, brass band music is like sort of an important part of the heritage. And some little children who are family members of the bands, you know, sent us like such sweet little video clips of them like playing a little song on their trumpet. And that got like such really good engagement on our Facebook, so that was nice.
Oh, amazing. It sounds so cool to also to have created such sort of unique events, sort of the unique parts of your event based particularly on how you know your sort of attendees and how you've gotten to know your guests over the time that you've done the event. And it brings us nicely to our next question from Nikki. And this is something I was wondering about as well when you throughout your session. She would like some details on the Loveliest Father competition, please, how that works,
Okay.
what you could tell us.
Okay, so this worked nicely because our event was the day before Father's Day. So we just, so how did that work? So they made their donation. We created a Virgin Money giving page, you know, where explained what to do. And so they made their donation on that page. So they donated £5. And then we got their email address and emailed them to ask them to send in their photo. So then they just sent us a photo of their father, and we asked them to send like a little paragraph or a few sentences about why their father was so special. So, we got some such moving things in, you know, lovely photos and stories about why people's fathers were so amazing. And then that was judged by one of our corporate supporters. So there's a local cleaning company who we buy a lot of our PPE and cleaning supplies from. And they were one of our corporate donors who supported the event. And so they were the judge for that part of the event. So they then just chose a winner, and then the winner, the prize for that was a certificate. So, and we found that people were really delighted with the really simple prizes. Like we didn't have to offer, you know, really nice fancy prizes. So the winner of that Loveliest Father got a lovely certificate saying, you know, my father's the loveliest father. And they were like so pleased with that. So yeah, so we found we did. I mean, some of the competitions had better prizes, but I think people, like for the pet show, for example, they just had certificates and rosettes, and everyone was just so delighted to get their rosettes through the post. I think you don't have to go to town on fancy prizes.
Yeah, it sounds like something so sort of simple but also really, really heartwarming, especially in a time like this and with so much uncertainty in the air, to have brought so much joy to people. I feel like I could ask you questions all day about your event. And what's actually good to know is that Louise is still with us in the networking room for an extended Q&A, which everyone can head over to if you would like to. Louise, before we go into our sign off for the day, do you have any goodbyes or closing remarks you'd like to say to anyone who won't be attending the networking?
Well, I think, you know, as I was saying, I think just give it a go really is my main message. You know, we didn't know if it would be successful. We had very limited time. You know, we only worked on it part-time, and we just gave it a go, and it went really well. I mean, I think it works so well for us because we already have an audience from our real summer fair. Obviously, it's going to be different if you're just doing this cold. So I guess that you should bear that in mind. You know, we do have a really loyal audience for this. But yeah, also part of our main objective was just to like do something nice for our community and engage with them. And this gave us a sort of great excuse of like how to engage with people and, you know, do something nice when it's a really difficult time. So yeah, just to say good luck to everyone really and just give it a go.
Thank you. And I think very, very much appreciated as well at a time like this as well. Thank you so much, Louise.